Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Going into game number 2, we're in the North American region for SPL day number 1. In game number 1, we saw Denial actually lose out to Melior Morior in a pretty explosive matchup, 21-4 in 20 minutes of in-game time, an absolute domination. But one thing we should look at going into game 2 is definitely the jungle control. Weekend picked up Odin last game, the All-Father, and it was a little tough to say what he was going to do with it, but what he did do with it was conquer. 543 GPM, 8.5 KDA, with a character that most people consider an absolute detriment to the team. Across the way, Xing playing a very strong character in that Mercury, dropped down 398, 0.4 KDA. Not a strong showing so far, but Xing's looking to make that a bit of a better difference for game 2.
Yeah, I mean, these stats can be a little bit misleading given that it's just the culmination of a single match. So definitely something looking forward. Both of those junglers, Mercury and Odin a little more so, as you mentioned, not exactly the most prevalent picks that we have today. So we're definitely going to see if the junglers do something a little more traditional, or if they continue on their way as we get into the picks and bans.
What do you really pick when 6 junglers are banned out? I mean, last game we saw every single ban used to ban a jungle position. So at that point, Weekend's like, oh man, what's left? I guess the Allfather, we'll pick him up, and he definitely dominated with it. Now, at this point, we're going to see Arachne banned out yet again by Melior Morior, the same thing we saw last game. Serqet's got to go as well. I think with such strong, prominent junglers as Xing and Weekend, you got to get Serqet off the table, the Egyptian assassin, Lord of the Desert there. You've got Bastet gone as well, but will these last 2 bans be junglers?
I definitely think so. I mean, we took a look at the jungle matchup, and there's a reason for that, folks. Denial Esports is talented across the board, ShadowQ probably being one of the more notable players. He plays in the support role. And Melior Morior, again, another very talented team across the board. Cyclone Spin, probably the takeaway, honestly. But at the core of these teams, you have 2 very, 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 not just prominent, but very talented junglers. And what Weekend can do with what is arguably the worst character in the game, Odin, which is win the game for his team. And Xing is notorious for being incredibly difficult to put a finger on. So you combine unpredictability with pure mechanical strength, and it just becomes difficult. And one of Weekend's favorites, this is actually part of his logo.
Locked in there for Melior Morior. They baited it out quite a bit. The Hoonbats banned out by Denial. They realized Cyclone Spin a bit strong in the solo lane with that boss. He's been practicing it a while, and then Thor goes away.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the damage of the Cyclone Spin. It's not even just Cyclone Spin. It's the ultimate. It's not just the damage. It's about the ultimate.
It's the whole package.
We saw it do well in Europe earlier today. That ultimate, what happens is you put down the totem, and it spreads the entire team out, and all positioning is lost. And it wins team fights single-handedly. So they're going to go ahead and ban him out. We see the dual lane picked up by Denial, Athena, and Cupid. Pretty much a bread and butter combo for Season 2 long lane.
Well, I actually like Sylvanus better with Cupid, just given the fact you can push up a little more effectively, control the lane, plus the heal. But Athena always very strong, especially going into late stage of the game. We've got Sylvanus locked in here for Melior Morior. They have one more selection to make. Will it be a mid? Will it be a solo? The question is, and will it be a hunter, right? And this is a big consideration. Knowing you have Cupid, you're going to get countered by pretty much everything, right? Cupid shuts down most hunters in the lane with his aggression. They're most likely, if you see a Cupid, you almost always want to go into a late game hunter, something like a Rom, something like an Artemis, right? We haven't seen Artemis just yet. Isis locked in. Of course, it's a big steal away from Mace to the Face, though. We did see a Dreadbeard Poseidon last game. Poseidon is available if they want to lock it in. And at this point, with them being down 1 game, they got to be very specific with their picks.
Bakasura is going to be picked up, again, most likely in the solo lane. If you took a look at this character, you'd probably say he is a clear jungler. He has an ability to just eat a jungle camp, which effectively works as a hand of the gods, just smite down an entire jungle camp. But he does so well in the solo lane because of his ability to kill towers. And, ladies and gentlemen, we have the first Odin ban that I have ever seen.
Well, it's weird, right? Because, Cyclone Spin most likely not going to take Serqet into the solo lane. Serqet not as strong as the solo laner as Hunbatsu has that free overhand smash clear. So I don't know why they decided to ban out Odin here. I guess it was the thought that maybe Cyclone Spin would take Serqet solo and they would pick Odin again. But it also could be the fact that, again, they have trouble getting out of that Odin spear with the picks they've got. It's Kukulkan. Kukulkan. I actually really like the pickup
love
here.
that
It's a lot of
pick.
pressure, it's a lot of push, and a lot of possible damage, especially with the setup from Athena. Athena Kukulkan
Yes.
is, since the origin of Smite, they're one of my favorite combos. You taunt into the big dragon from above, and it kills people instantly.
Spirit of the 9 wins, because you only get 1 life. You don't have 9. So
Well, there's more than one wind.
Kukulkan definitely one of the more potent mid laners, and as you said, when combined with a setup from Athena, it's just too scary. And Artemis, there we go again, a character where the cripple from Cupid's ultimate does not affect her. 2 will be her escape, as will her ultimate, both of which give her movement speed and the ability to basically get out. And
To me, it's more just the fact that you pick a late game powerhouse to counter the fact that you're most likely going to lose early. Even Artemis can pop the boar and get away from Cupid.
Sure.
Cupid's damage is most likely, unless you're an expert with auto attacks, which of course Allied is, really comes down to the ability to kind of beat them out mid and late, because the laning phase may or may not be a wash. Tier locked in here, that's going to be their solo laner for sure. They've got Nemesis locked in down on the bottom here. That's going to help with the protections you get from Sylvanus' heal, and of course from Lotus Crown. It's also going to help them break down characters like Sylvanus and Tier in their natural protections. And of course, they got a lot of damage control here. The one thing that's interesting about the lineup for Denial, this is putting a lot of pressure on Athena to initiate properly, because they don't have much follow-up.
And that's not a problem at all. Athena is going to be piloted by Shadow Q, who once upon a time was considered the end-all be-all of supports. Recently, as the scene progressed, we got a lot more players and a lot more talent in there, but Shadow Q still considered one of the top-tier supports, despite not even participating much in last season. Previously of Team Dignitas, took a break from playing and coached the European team solo mid, now majority known as Trig Esports, then returned to play with his brother and his friend the Best, and now, well, the rest is history. Denial Esports versus MM is getting underway, and MM succeeded so well at that level 1 that they're trying to do it again, and frankly, with Tyr, Serqet, and a Sylvanus, this is a dangerous level 1 team.
They try to get that level 1 again, but it's not going to happen. Of course, Denial was prepared for it. I do like the fact that we see the Best actually go over and put a ward into the right side movement speed camp. Moving together as 5 is Melior Morior. They put their wards down on the left side just to see if there's any rotations they can catch out. Not going to find it, and they're going to back up. I like the fact that more teams are now experimenting with invasions, level 1 kills, early pressure, because, I mean, that's really what snowballed them in the last game. Cyclone Spin and Weaken getting early kills on their counterparts in the solo and jungle lanes respectively, and they go into the solo lane and all of a sudden they're miles ahead, and they used that to get even further ahead. And I think Denial really saw that that's where they went wrong. They can't give away that early double kill again. They're playing safe and they're holding it down. With that ward on movement speed buff, they'll see exactly where Melior Morior is going to go. The solo lane is now open, and you see that everything is as it should be.
Teams making their way downtown.
Are they walking fast?
Yes, they are.
Faces fast?
They're walking fast into the lanes, trying to make themselves known, and now everybody will eventually be there. Now, interesting point with Cyclone Spin playing that tier. He's going to force early beads, Magi's Blessings, or both. So, it is very important that Incon can land his ultimates, and it's basically up to Melior Morior to shred the CC protection in order for Tyr to do his thing. If that doesn't happen, Dry Bear, Tyr will be very ineffective.
Well, Tyr's also one of the best people to just shut down someone like Kukulkan, right? I mean, he has nothing against Tyr. Beads is that it, and then after that, it's just, hopefully positioning keeps him alive. Back Harpy Camp's going to be cleared out here by the top side, Denali Esports mid and jungle. They've got it all locked in and ready to roll here. No major gain, just at a slight gold lead for Melior Morior, just kind of holding down the jungle lane a little bit better. You see the early rotation kind of helped them out in that facet, but, the jungle is going to be a big point of contention for Denial, given the fact that they need to have those early ganks.
Yeah, I mean, Weaken and Xing are, as we said, two of the marquee players that people are going to be watching during this particular matchup. Weaken playing what is arguably his most known god, Serqet. I mean, if you take a look at his Twitch page or his YouTube,
stinger,
it's got a Serqet stinger. The man knows this god, the man likes this god, the man loves this god, the man plays this god very well. So, gotta be very careful and aware that this will be an arduous process for Denali Esports to really take this one to the bank.
It certainly will be, and so far it's working out. In the mid lane, a lot of pressure coming out here, going to push this whole wave down. Cyclone Spin's actually looking to do a lot of damage here to the best, forcing him away. Bakasura jumping out. Now, Bakasura is quite good at most tanky characters, you know, the Zhang Kueis of the world, taking out Raws and the healers and all that. Tier's an interesting matchup for him, because given the fact that Bakasura has a very brief CC immunity on his ultimate, then it goes away. Tier can have some pretty strong turnaround power, given the fact that the guard stance cleave can heal for almost half his HP.
Yeah, it's 1.5 seconds of CC immunity on that ultimate coming out from the best on Bakasura. So Cyclone Spin, as long as it plays it correctly, can be very potent and really sort of stop Bakasura in his tracks from doing what he wants to do. Early rotation out of Cyclone Spin as he finds himself caught in the middle of the jungle. Two ultimates out, but he uses the flip to get out of problems. And now Mace to the Face is the one. It looks like MM is going to turn this around. Shing taking a lot of damage. Beautiful ultimate from Incon. Wicked claims one, and that's going to be the first kill, first blood. Shing will get away thanks to the double dash, but the fight will rage on.
Can he get two? He has one more shot. Can't find it.
The best gets away.
Nice damage coming out, but Niall actually drove that fight, but a beautiful ultimate coming out from Tier, preventing him from getting hit from that Spirit of the Nine Winds. Controlled everything from that point on. And of course, the Serqet ultimate stinging into Kukulkan and forcing him to spread out some poison damage. You know, honestly, that was beautifully played by Melior Morior, given the fact that they were the ones that got caught out and were initiated upon, but they made a lot of smart decisions that allowed them to control. In fact, we did see Cupid try to rotate over into the mid lane, and, you know, Ally was saying, you know, it's fine. You can rotate. My team's got this. It's far away from me. I'm going to sit and farm. And because Melior Morior won that fight and Ally didn't rotate, he's now ahead of Madman Mark.
That was a great turnaround from MM right there. I mean, the rotation from Cyclone was curious. It really was. He got himself into a poor position, but Incon was just in the right spot. I mean, that's why he's talked about so much around the league. You know, new name, but still the same team. Previously known as Complexity, and Incon just still doing what he's known to be doing.
If you're a playmaker, feel free to make some positioning mistakes, right? I mean, that's exactly what happens. If you've got the talent to do something like that under pressure, it's okay to make mistakes in that situation, because if it works out, it means that you made a mistake, the enemy recognizes that mistake, tries to punish you for it, and because you made a play, they're in a bad position. It almost is a baited initiation on the side of Melior Morior, which it could go completely wrong, right? And they could completely die, or it could be the best play ever.
I'm not going to give him that much credit. I definitely think they capitalized on a poor situation, which that is the real spot of where the talent lies. So mid lane, we'll take a look at Isis, and right-hand side, Weekend's trying to get a little crafty. Doesn't realize that there is a lot of vision on the side of Denial Esports. Not just one, but two wards warding both entrances to the solo lane. So Weekend not going to be able to get much able to be going. But Shing gets the ultimate, the Athena drop. He's looking for more out of the guy, and there it is. Mace to the Face takes out Kiki So Cheeky with the ult. So great contrived play coming out from Shing.
Oh, does he hit it? He hits the madness. There goes the ult. Back at the NATO he goes, though. Avoiding that damage there. Incon looking for the find. Can't get the hook there, but the poison damage will take down Shing. Shing getting punished for his transgressions in the mid lane. Melior Morior taking the kill lead 2-1. They've got a little bit of gold lead as well. And by a little bit, I mean 1,200. Quite a substantial amount for their name. The Gold Fury is not really available to either team just yet. They need more positioning and more gank potential. But looking at the mid lane farm, Kiki is about even with Mace to the Face right now. Mace taking a little bit of a lead given the kill that he just got with that ultimate. But across the board, I think, you know, especially given the fact that the late game prowess of Artemis is almost unbeatable, right? CC immunity, traps, a good slow, and the best steroid in the game, giving 75% attack speed.
Oh, wow.
Plus a passive that gives you stacking crit, right? She has a built-in rage, plus 75% attack speed. She's scary.
Artemis can definitely be one of the scarier characters. You called her a late game hunter, and well, everything you listed there is pretty much the reasoning behind that thought process. So good stuff coming out from Drybear the Analyst. Big damage coming out of the best from Tier, but nothing Cyclone Spin wants to chase. Calculated aggression seems to be Cyclone Spin's motif.
Gonna find him into the jungle, into the wall. He goes, the best dropping low. Just needs the dash over it. Goes. Is he gonna dunk? Is he gonna dunk? He gets the hit. Nope. Pops the ultimate to prevent it. course, now, one thing that players may not have noticed right there, why did he pop the ultimate? It wasn't for him to get any damage, and it wasn't for him to zone him out. It was because when the Bakasura ultimate hits the ground, it applies a field of cripple. Tyr cannot use Fearless inside of the cripple, so if he ran inside the tower, he would have to do it through auto attacks instead of through Fearless, and that's why he did it. Smart.
Very, very intelligent play. Coming out on both sides of the field, honestly, Denial Esports, the best. Now I think it's been a long time, but hold that thought right now. 3 members in red, Denial Esports in a little bit of trouble, and they didn't think so as they engaged on a lonely Weekend, but the Weekend's team is right there. MM in a little bit of trouble. Cupid gets a kill for Denial, but the rest of his team is present. ShadowQ very, very low. Madman Mark even lower, and he'll be the one dead. Allied gets the kill. Hunter versus Hunter.
Artemis is strong, especially if you can hit those shots, and Allied has been known for his accuracy. We've got a lot of attack speed boots being picked up by Denial. They've got that late game scaling potential. Kukulkan running the Doom Orb. Now, Doom Orb's a powerful kill potential. If the damage comes down on the Gold Fury.
Allied got the last hit, but the Gold Fury is really the one that killed Xing. Took a couple of hits too many in the middle of a team fight. And, you know, Allied, one of the things that Allied does well, and I mentioned last game how a lot of what I was saying about Allied, as a beautiful Spirit Ball comes through the wall, stunning out that Bakasura, is that he quietly amassed a lot of these kills. Well, not this time. Allied is front and center, doing what he does best, which is team fight. Allied is what has always been one of the premier team fight hunters in the league, and really is showing that that is still his gimmick, and he's performing very well in these fights.
Well, he's also one of the best players as a hunter, playing from behind. He knows what fights to take and what fights not to, and his positioning's very strong. Comes out, big nade on the ground, is going to finish him off, though there goes the dunk from the best, looking for the follow-up. Ultimate's going to come, they're going to hit one, forcing him back into the Gold Fury area. ShadowQ is disengaging entirely. There goes the slow. Fearless going to find something. Damage coming out from Incon, going to force him into the ground. Man, Mark is gone. Here goes the kill. The best will fall as well. Here comes Melior Morior driving the front line, and even though they had a great initiation, Denial falls down.
How is Weekend still alive? That was outlandish, just control of the character. Not only does he get the kill with the ultimate earlier on, but he gets the kill on a Xing right here. He's just so low. And
it's Hornsby. Look at him.
MM gets the Gold Fury, and after 9.5 minutes of play, 7 kills to 3 kills. MM is running this one just as well as they were running the last one. We're 1 game deep into this best of 3, folks. MM won the last one by incredible amounts, and this time they show no signs of slowing down. 4,000 gold in the lead, or just underneath it, or just above it rather. And Experience looking the same way, 5,700. So MM,
they're strong. They're looking strong, and they're pushing. I love the fact that Incon went straight for the Winged Blade right off the bat. It's a very powerful item, good transitional item, and of course with the major amount of slowing you got from the other team, you've got Nemesis, you've got Cupid, you've got Athena, Kukulkan, one of the best slows in the entire game, of course. It's going to be tough, and of course the slow from the Bakasura ultimate as well. So, you know, it's something that helps him move about and also gives him a little bit of movement speed, allowing him to keep up with the enemy players. Across the way, that Doom Orb is not proving to be a good thing here for Mace to the Face, and one of the downsides with that Doom Orb build is that if you fall behind with it, it proves to be way too difficult to carry with you unless you just farm perfectly. Nemesis ultimate coming down on Kiki. ShadowQ is looking for the dunk. Not going to find it. Great reaction and good route from Incon.
Good ultimate is going to provide a lot of protection. Needs to get back into it and pop it to heal back up. And that's what he does, but not before claiming the life of Xing. Kiki's so cheeky. Again, we talked about the intricacies of Bakasura's ultimate and how well these players know these characters. Kiki, no exception to the rule, and a good ultimate coming in from Weekend, and ShadowQ down for the count.
Cycle Spin forcing out the ult on the right side from the best as well. The heal from Guard Stance Cleave is keeping him healthy. The Fire Giant is available, but no real pressure to come down from it just yet. And this is the secret hidden power of Isis. And she's always been kind of one of her sleepers in Smite, mainly because, you know, she's from a front line, you see Cyclone Spin soloing the best on the right side. From a front line, she's rather simple, but realistically, her core is very complex. She's a very difficult character to understand, and the ultimate's so hard.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the things that Isis has is a very open-ended combo. You can slow and silence into the stun. You can stun into the slow and silence. You can play around with your combo a little bit much. Your damage is basically all about Spirit Wing Gust, but that ultimate, as you referenced, it is a protection-giving, damage-absorbing, heal-providing circle. It is full of text and full of numbers, but at the core, it's very easy to drop it and pop it, but you want to use it the way Kiki has been using it, to absorb damage and provide opportunities, and you don't even need an ultimate right there. Weekend takes him out. No problem. Mace to the face, mace to the ground.
Looking for Shing, knock up, big damage, Shing down to Incon's damage. The Gold Fury's not available, the Fire Giant is, however, they find this kill on Shadow Q. They're gonna go for the Fire Giant. There's a big damage. Bakasura is here, he's biting, he's gonna get weakened. He's looking for a Kiki, he can't find the boar, lands in his face, and he will find death in the mid lane as he tries to get some pressure out. The Spirit Ball comes through, and the overwhelming force of Melior Morior is bearing down on the mid lane, and Denial does not have a good answer for it.
I'll tell you right now, this is Man Mark and Athena trying to make a good play. Shadow Q coming, great double fearless coming out from the tier in the solo lane. Cyclone Spin saying, this is why you pick the character I control, and I will do what I came here to do. Cyclone Spin picks up a solo kill in the solo lane by himself off camera, and then finds his way into the middle lane to provide the control that his team needs and pushes two members out. That was a great play coming out from the dual lane of Denial Esports. Athena ults, we're going to go get him, and Cyclone Spin just said no.
That's how it happens. That's how it happens. And what happens after that is the stuff after the stuff, as you like to call it. F-Dot, no towers taken just then, but they did get the 2 in the mid lane, which is 2,000 gold overall. But here comes the items that follow up. You've got attack speed boots picked up by Artemis here. Going to put her pretty close to a healthy amount of attack speed when that number 2 is active. 75% attack speed at max rank, which it is max rank now. Pretty impressive. You got a lot of active items as well on the side of Melior Morior. Beats 2 on Artemis. That's all she really needs. Right side is the demise of the best. He gets away from the stinger of Serqet, only to be picked up by Tyr and thrown into a wall to be pulverized to death. And the combo potential that Melior Morior has is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, Tyr's at the point right now where nobody on the enemy team has a Magi's Blessing.
Yep.
So as long as beads are on cooldown, which they should be frequently with this team, you've got Kiki, Allied, and everybody can force you to hit beads. Cyclone Spin can do whatever the hell he wants.
It's the age-old problem, right? When you're behind, you realize that number 1, you need core items. You need Magi's Blessings, you need beads, you need Aegis, you need Weakening Curse. You need these things, and you also need your core items for damage, right? You need your boots, you need your attack speed, you need your penetration, and you don't have enough money to get it all because you're behind. So what do? Do you buy defense and not deal enough damage to get a pick? Do you buy only offense to get a pick, but then you're too weak?
I love this play right here, Dry Bear. So MM is going for the Gold Fury right now, but they're also forcing the right side tower. They're forcing the attention to the right side tower. So much so that it was just one player at first. And then it turned into Bakasura, Kukulkan, Shing on Nemesis, and the Athena. And they just said, fine, we won't take your tower. But we are taking the Gold Fury. You guys were paying attention to the wrong side of the map. Ha-ha!
Well, they know they're 10,000 gold ahead, right? So any small skirmish, 2v2, 3v3, 1v1, is going to be in favor of Melior Morior just by sheer number of experience and gold lead that they have. So spread it out, let it be small numbers, and say, hey, if you want to fight me, you're welcome to. Is Cupid going to stop a Gold Fury against Artemis and Incon? No, absolutely not. Are they going to be able to pressure out Serqet and Tyr? They're too mobile. You can't do anything. And so what they did is they set themselves up for a win-win situation that only benefits them, and Denial had no answer to it. And again, this is how you win a game when you're ahead. Force only lose-lose situations for the enemy team all game long, and you'll secure it.
Secure it is what they want to do. Right-hand side, 2 members deep for Melior Morior, and you got 2 more members coming, splitting up. Weekend going the long route. Cyclone's been trying to come around the right-hand side. So
boy.
Yeah, Cyclone's going to look for the blink. Fearless, power cleave, stand switch, Fearless, into the power cleave. There goes the jump on back, and the best will be able to get out of there no problem. Madness makes it. Weekend is incredible.
There's the stinger, there's the poison, it's ticking down, just needs one shot to secure it. There goes the hit, and the passive of Serqet comes through. Spirit of the Night Wind's gonna hit one. Isis ultimate on the ground, big heal, big burst. NATO, the winds aren't strong enough, and they're not blowing it in his favor as the burst of Spirit Ball comes through, and looks like Shadow Q will fall down to Born to Die, Melior Morior, and the Fire Giant is available. They don't care all that much as the right side tower is exposed, and during all this, it's a Hunter v Hunter on the left side of the map. And of course, Cupid ultimate. Does he have the beads? He does indeed. Does he have the board? He does not.
The heart bomb.
Good play
by
the duel.
Mark.
And Madman takes it.
Very, very good play from
But
Madman.
Allied traded his life for a fire giant.
Sure, Allied traded that. I mean, Madman Mark wouldn't have been able to get over there. And very good hunter play coming out from the rookie Madman Mark. He's a player new to the Smite Pro League. We've seen him flirt with the Pro League before. He's subbed here and there. He's played on Challenger Cup teams and teams that have almost made it. And here he is going toe-to-toe with Allied, a player that has been in Pro Smite for as long as most people can remember, and able to get a solo kill. No
And a
help
tower.
from a support. No help from anybody else. Not only does he get the solo kill, he gets the tower. And I mean, when you're down by this much, it's all about the small victories because that's how you get yourself back in the game. So credit to Madman Mark for not making a bad rotation when he couldn't and winning the fight.
Well, at this point, you've got Allied. He's got his attack speed boots. He's got a full life steal. He's got Executioner for more penetration, and he's got his Rage. And as I mentioned before, still target Artemis' passive is a built-in Rage. Plus Rage, she's going to be critting non-stop at a high attack speed value. So she is a huge threat to Denial Esports right now. They're trying to get their core items built up. It looks like Best is actually going to go an Executioner or a Shin Size here. Ultimate coming out from Best. They're looking for the tower. They're going to find it. Nemesis Ultimate will bring down the HP values. The Best is getting caught out here.
Ouch.
We can look for the hit. Can he find it? There goes the damage, and that will secure it. In the meantime, Shing will be backing behind the wall. He will make it home just in time, and they got the Tier 1 tower, but again, as the old adage goes, at what cost?
Allied gets stunned out a little bit, but we talked about how powerful that steroid is coming out of Artemis. She's going to go ahead and clear out that tower, no problem. Kukulkan over here just trying to provide some sort of support as the guys on the right-hand side of the map start to counter jungle. That's going to be very, very good. Allied, the only member on Melior Morior without the Fire Giant buff. As the Hunter, he is the tower killer, so might be a bad look for him, but that passive makes it, that steroid makes it so incredible that he arguably doesn't need one. Serqet on the wrong side. Here she comes.
For the damage, going to find it, looking for the hit. Spirit Ball's going to land. Oh, it's going to be the miss there. Ultimate's going to land on Weaken, not doing a whole lot of damage. Incon Ultimate's going to miss as well. Into the tornado he goes. Good slow coming out from Shing. They're forcing him away. Incon, it's an absolute beast right now with his defensive power. Shing getting forced away, looking for the Cobra's Kiss. Ain't going to find that one either. Ultimates are pretty much on cooldown right now. You got a few still remaining on the side of Melior Morior. Denial is missing all but 2. And it looks like they were able to defend and hold, but they lost their Tier 2 tower for another 1,500 gold net for Melior Morior.
That Spirit Ball hit Shing for 50% of his HP.
Max range, it hurts.
Left-hand side, Melior Morior not going home just yet. Very extended fight. Kukulkan able to drop those tornadoes, so not going to have much minion pressure over here. And that's one of the big boons for Kukulkan. Very good at playing defense because the tornadoes will just kill.
One thing about a highlight here, though, if we talk about good positioning, Shadowq actually warded the lane, and we don't really see this that much in Smite, but we probably should. I mean, that's where most people will exist, and it gives them vision of what the enemy team is doing. But speaking of which, Ice Ultimate coming out there. There goes the rotation. Shing's in a lot of trouble. He's going to drop low.
Ouch.
He's going to die to Weaken. Big burst with the Cupid Ultimate kills one and drops Allied down to near death. He's backpedaling. He's running. He's trying to survive. Cycling spin from the right side, going to force him back in. Shadowq into the wall. He goes, and Shadowq will go down. Madman Mark out of the fight. Denial Esports is trying to deny Melior Morior the victory they want so desperately, but knowing that this is game 2 and Denial lost game 1, they have to make a play.
Again, love the play from Madman Mark, but it's not going to be enough. Kingy so cheeky, taking the life of the best one more time, but Madman Mark is not stopping. He's going to force the entire team off almost by himself. Mace in the face playing a big part of that, but unfortunately Cyclone Spin going to take him down after the tornado. So without these tornadoes, MM will have some minions. But Madman Mark, man, able to position that Cupid Ultimate so well. This is not going well for his team, Driver, but I will be looking at Madman Mark in not only this game, but many games in the future.
Allied is able to heal right back up with that lifesteal. Madman Mark playing a lot of really good team fights there. 5-3. In fact, everyone on his team is negative KDA right now, but he does not. He's got 5.53-2. Incredible play so far, and especially given the fact that he's behind, right? He doesn't have the same level of golden items that the enemy team does, and they're able to pull it together. They're pushing this up, and Allied's going to keep getting stronger and stronger as the game goes on. Currently, he's got quite a lot of gold in his hand, and about to get more as he goes towards the gold theory. Uncontested. A lot of buffs in the jungle to be secured here for both teams, but really Denial needs more time. If they can buy more time to get caught up in gold, they definitely can make this happen, but they're being cautious, and they should be.
Cautious is the name of the game. They have to play it that way. Denali Esports trailing by over 10,000 gold. I mean, taking a look, just to recap, folks, 22 minutes, rather, but not too far away from 22,000 gold is 16K and about 22,000 experience. That's what I was talking about, I swear. 25 kills to 9 as well. MM just absolutely killing it. There really is no other adjective. This is domination. Not the game mode that has been taken out of the game.
Rip, rest in peace.
Domination and conquest. And Fire Giant is being initiated on. Denial Esports cannot contest this. Shadow Q at most can try and go for a steal, but the team should not fight, and they will not. They'll hold off, and now they have to play defense.
Speaking of Shadow Q, though, he made a very hard decision as he gets jumped on here. There goes the silence, there goes the slow, there goes the NATO, there goes the knock-up. Incon with a follow-up here. Big burst from Kiki, so cheeky. Xing will fall down there. Shadow Q can ult out. The damage from Artemis is a lot, and so is Weekends.
Ouch.
He channels for the defender of Olympus, but who is defending him when he's channeling it? No one is the answer, and he will fall down. Madman Mark is on the case here, but here comes Cycle Spin. There goes the bees. There goes Serqet. Cobra's Kiss is going to come out, but not going to land. Magi's Blessing still ticking strong. There's not a single Phoenix on the board. The birds have been taken down, and Denial is looking for some sliver of hope.
This is the push, Drybear. Denial Esports Titan is under attack. That's the Cupid ult. This time not so strong for Madman Mark. Melior Morior is going to go ahead and dance around it. The Titan is at 50% HP. Denial putting up a little bit of a fight, but Kiki So Cheeky gets the best. On the right-hand side, Cyclone doing what he can. Madman Mark picks up the kill,
Rampage.
still being the shining point for his team, but unfortunately it's just Weekend gets one, Titan 100%. Allied
Xing
gets
down.
Xing. Right now it's
Base
a 3
dropping
for
low.
1. Kiki the only one on the side of Melior Morior dead. Here comes 2 waves of fire minions. This will drastically change everything.
Madman Mark.
Weekend gets the ultimate
Oh.
on Madman Mark. He's gonna fall to the wayside. 1 member remains. Scratch that, 0 remain. Deicide. Titan falls. 24 minutes in. Melior Morior secures the win for the game and the set. Great job.
32-10 in 24 minutes of game time. Melior Morior is making a name for themselves shortly after renaming themselves because they've got a lot to bring to this SPL. Going into day number 1, I think a lot of people expected a lot from Denial. You've got a team of absolute all-stars and a lot of tenured practice between them,
yeah.
but the veteran aspects could not beat the absolute effort being put out here by Melior Morior, and given the fact that they have been one of the premier studiers, the premier scholars of Season 2. They've been preparing for this ever since we started our PTSing, our public test servers for Season 2 going into January, and they are definitely benefiting for it. But something that always benefits every team in every game is going to be the first blood of the match, and with this, let's check it out. And this is exactly where it all began, F-Dot. Look at this.
Yeah, Weekend setting the pace right here. He's going to go ahead and just, well, play Serqet. We mentioned earlier that Serqet is really the god that he's known for. If he's known for anything, it's part of his nomenclature. It's part of his branding. It's just a part of his individualism. It basically is him.
Well,
so
he's patient, too. I mean, you see him, the
incredible.
second he got that kill, he immediately dropped the 3 and jumped out. He was like, okay, I got my kill. I don't know what's behind me. I don't know what's happening. I'm just going to jump right out. And the preparedness he has in every single scenario really makes him a strong player. And speaking of a strong player, he's also the player of the game, in fact. Weekend on Serqet is
surprise.
a character you don't want to give away to Melior Morior, 13-3-7 as Serqet jungle.
13?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, he knows this character through and through, and it's one of those things where you just don't want to give your enemies their best gods.
And I will say that Serqet is a difficult character. Serqet is
hard.
not an easy god to play. Definitely one of the more difficult if you want to bring skill ceiling into it. The skill ceiling of this character is incredibly difficult. Arguably the most difficult. Shouts to a Wheelix, new recent addition to the god pool. So just Weekend able to figure out how much damage his ultimate's going to do, of course being a true damage over time spell, so being able to really balance that with direct damage is something that Weekend does very, very well. That play is something that I absolutely
Well, you know,
love.
just
The
watching him,
long-range Cobra
look how
Kiss.
quickly he can transition his abilities, right? He's canceling the after animations. He's able to get right into it, and you see there's just almost no seam between each ability usage. It just flows so fluidly. He knows all the animations, the pre-hits, the post-hits, and he knows exactly what he needs to do to hit it, and drops those ultimates at the right time and pushes them in the right direction. And every single time you watch Weekend play Serqet, it's absolutely dominant. But speaking of dominant, they were, of course, we saw the first matchup of the day for EU, Dignitas versus Trig Esports. It was a very long, drawn-out best-of-3. Trig took first game, second and third was a long drawn out by Team Dignitas, but they made it happen. This was night and day compared to that. The complete opposite. We had 21-4 in the first match, 32-10 in the second match, and we spent so much time praising Weekend, even though his team all came together at the end. I think that the best thing for us to do now is just chat with him. So, Weekend, welcome to the broadcast. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I don't care how Dry Bear is doing. I care about how you're doing because you slaughtered it that last match. What happens when you start going 13-3-7? Do you just sort of go on autopilot? Do you just sort of let your thing go, or is there a thought process? Are you still thinking as hard as you were game one?
I mean, it is basic autopilot. Once you get ahead like that, you just kind of do what you want to do, especially on Serqet. It's really fun.
Now, one thing that's always really important about Serqet, now she has a lot of intricacies that I'm sure a lot of players are wanting to learn from you about, is really that passive and when to know to go into auto attack to break that poison burst. Can you give us any tips out there for anyone who wants to play Serqet in the jungle? I mean, what really makes Serqet click?
I mean, it's just the combo. You have to make sure you 2 into a 1 into an ult, or you can ult into a 2 into a 1. Either one of those is perfect, and that's all you have to worry about.
There's also a popular YouTube series if you want to check that out on Weekend's YouTube. You can look at that yourself, Dry Bear. Now, question, I think that's on everybody's mind.
You're a stellar gentleman.
Odin, what? That's my entire question.
He's a lot stronger than people give him credit for. He's really not going to carry or do too much for your team other than setup. It's the perfect setup for the gods that are in the meta right now.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you got that ultimate, right? Keeping people in their place. And obviously, picking Odin last was a big part of your success in that last match. You can't really reveal that till the end. In Game 1, we saw a lot of jungle bans. Are you comfortable going that deep into the tier list for your jungle matchups?
I personally was surprised by that because, no offense to Shing, but he was going really, really deep into his god pool. They gave me something that I've been playing. So I was surprised by them forcing him to go that deep, not me.
So another question as we were about to close out here, and this is something that we've been talking about in the broadcast as well. You and your team were one of the few teams that actually spent the most amount of time preparing and studying and practicing on the PTS servers and preparing for Season 2. How much of that do you feel has influenced your play today?
It's just more brought us together, adding Cyclone in. Just that time it just put us, made us the team we are. And not necessarily put us ahead of everybody in the meta. It did open up our god pools a little bit, but it mainly formed our team into something a lot stronger than it was before.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that the communication has really grown. You guys seem like a complete, well-oiled machine. So once again, congratulations on winning your first set, and thanks for coming on the show.
Yep, thank you guys.
So there you have it from the man himself. Weekend doing what he has to, and like you said, he just sort of goes on autopilot when you do that well. But so that's in the books today. Team Dignitas wins Europe in a 3-game set, 2-1, and that gives them their first victory. And MM wins their first match as well. So March 7th is in the books, and tomorrow will be March 8th, where we get to see Enemy Esports, previously known as Busters, that's Takati and the crew, versus Cognitive Gaming. And on the European side of things, we will see London Conspiracy take on the upcoming Stars.
And of course, just to clarify, Cognitive Gaming is not the Cognitive Gaming you saw from the Smite World Championship. They have actually joined up with the Cloud9 sponsor.
Yes.
So, a lot of talent coming out here, especially from North America. EU is something we're looking forward to tomorrow as well. And that's the schedule. If you're looking for more, you can go over and head out to all the resources out there online. You can see where our schedule is. But going into day number 2, we definitely want to be able to see how teams watch other teams, right? And it's one of the biggest things that, when you're at a LAN tournament, you can see what the teams do, and a lot of them just sit there and watch the matches and learn as much as they can. So going into day number 2, that's exactly what every team wants to benefit from, is seeing how people play today and learning from that going into day number 2.
Yeah, that's definitely what they want to take a look at. And, of course, you have the schedule, so you can plan in advance. You can take a look at what your enemies play and what they do not. You can make looks at that. So day 1 is in the books. Thank you for joining us for opening day. And we'll leave you with some of the better plays that we've seen on this Saturday. For Dry Bear, production, hi-rez Dan, who's lurking somewhere, and everybody else here at hi-rez Studios, and to you people at PAX. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.